Hi everybody, what we're demonstrating for you today, this is the Axon sleever neck bander. It's the EZ200 model. Right now we're powered up and we're running on 120 volts single phase power, and of course, as you can hear, we have air applied to the unit. Our house air is about 130 psi. In this case, let me just run around and see here, the regulator, we're running at about 100 psi here, and you can set that on regular as you do with every other one. The unit has normal safety equipment you have, so if you open the door, it shuts down, you'll see that there's a small sensor right here up in the top. The unit's in super clean condition, everything looks great on it. Has a static eliminator in here. Also has a cross perforator, which is up top. That's the knife you can see right up here. Jim, if you show that please. The knife you can see up here, and it's driven pneumatically by this cylinder in here. Right now, for whatever reason, this has been disabled. And you'll see these two lines right here are the lines that operate it, and the small connection right here is for the solenoid, which would signal and operate that at the appropriate time. Also, this regulator sitting by itself, this probably took air in, and you see there's two small bolts here. There was probably a small single solenoid removed from here at one time, where this plugged in this. So it's probably going to be the same one as what you see here. This particular brand probably sat right up in there. And I'm sure it's available off the shelf anywhere because the system is wired to do that, and I'll show you that in a few minutes. Okay, Joe, let me close the door. How we're operating is the start function just turns on, and that's going to operate the unit as a jog function. And of course, we go to auto operation. Now, what's happening, the unit has a lot of features that were purchased with the unit. The timing screw you can see running down here. And there are two other connections which are an identical plug. It's a pretty common 4-prong plug. One is marked for a conveyor, and we found that on the schematic diagram, and the other is for a cooling fan. These are all putting out the same voltage because we can plug any one of them into this and it will run there. So that control, in this case, it was a feed left to right. Jim, if you take a look down in here, I'm going to show you just a jog right now on it. Okay, what it's doing is going to advance the film, and you see, it obviously happens fast. Let me do it a few times so you can see it. Advancing the film, cutting, and also on the left side of the outside, you can't see from where you're standing, Jim, is a tamper, which makes sure that the neck band is completely seated into the proper position. And you can adjust that up and down. There's stops that you set to how deep you want that to push. Make sure it's completely seated on the package as you want it. Also, as you see here on the skid, there's quite a few parts in here. These are splitters for various sizes. This is the bottom, the top, right here. To split the film as it comes off the roll, because naturally it's going to be creased, and the idea of this is to break that crease before putting it on a bottle. And there's about a half a dozen in here. Let me just see, probably a couple more. Yeah, a couple more down the bottom. Just some miscellaneous stuff and another timing screw. We'll get back over a second, Jim. This is a hydraulic unit. This is used to raise the head up and down just by cranking this. Naturally, you need to loosen the bolts here first, and then crank it up. And it will move the head up and down. And you can see the two lines that come out the back right here. They feed up. Do you see me, Jim, while I'm explaining this? You have to be showing that, or it doesn't make sense. These two lines here connect to each of the cylinders, and that'll crank the entire unit up and down for adjusting the position of the head. Also, it has a power film feed, which you're looking at right here. Now, you see the eye right in here. This is operating that power film feed. And by moving that out of the way, that turns it on. Jim, you want to show the feed running, please? The feed's above it. Okay, so now by closing this, it shuts it off. So this was carried by the film as it went by, so if it fell down, the film got loose, it would feed more film. Obviously, for visual sake, we've taken out the film creel is sitting in here. There is, you can see in here, main wiring, everything looks great. Now, Jim, these two are DC controllers. One would operate the conveyor, one the timing screw. If you look at the timing screw right down there, Jim, can you show that? You can change the speed of that by operating with this one. And the upper one would also connect to the conveyor, to the lines I showed you earlier. Let me just show you this, Jim. This is from Axon. It's the main schematic diagram. And you can see the items in gray. Is there a reason you got your sideways, Jim? You got it? They probably had the machine, you can see it's wired for it, and that's why I just showed you the connection for it. It's a cooling fan they maybe were going to buy at a later time. But everything's in here, easy to follow. The optional package conveyor. But you can actually run any 90-volt DC motor with that plug, which I'd recommend you do. So everything's in here, the main schematic. If you come around the front again, Jim. On the conveyor was probably a small eye. This is a banner probably, which mounted on the conveyor. This is the indicator. Once this has a satisfied condition where it sees a container, the Axon would then cycle. Jim, what you see on the outside here is you might show that this is the tamp I was alluding to earlier. So at the completion of the cycle, that is pushing the neckband into place where you want it. And like I said, see these little collars, they adjust up and down for various depths that you want to go, depending on how far that's seating down on it. Everything looks great on it. Naturally, when you install a machine like this, sometimes it's very wise to bring Axon in, one of their service guys. We find them very helpful. They're not salespeople. They're interested in letting you learn about the machine. They know all the good shortcuts, all the easiest ways to do stuff. A couple other features while I'm in here. There's also, this is a static eliminator, because as you pull the film through, yeah, be that close, Jim. We got the static eliminator is this unit right here, where my finger is, and what that does is reduce the static that's produced by the plastic or the film material as it's pulled through. This is one of the better neck banders we see, nice and easy to use. And go over to auto again. And just fire it one more time. And up. And everything is working, including the emergency stop. And it looks like a great machine. Really clean shape, out of pharmaceutical service. So I hope this answers most of your questions you have today. Thanks for joining us.